timing is just a beautiful thing because it feels like we've hit some momentum with, maybe it's just one landlord, and that's okay, because ultimately that's what it's about, is pulling it down to the future and seeing who else is out there in our community to help us too, and our survivors. It's really been a learning process. It really has. Michael is my one and only that I've actually helped put into housing, and have really carefully have followed him up to this point.
I trust Vicki. She knows my personal needs because she's worked with me, and having that type of relationship with when you're working with a person is really important, because I've dealt with people before where I'm just a number in a system.
Within that week that we had met, I was relocating him. He wanted to make sure that his partner was out and not at home. It was like fast moving. But it all turned out because we pulled in the van there and got all of his belongings, and we were gone.
I hooked him up with his current landlord. I thought it would just be go find an apartment and pay the deposit and the first month's rent, no problem. But there are so many other issues.
I've learned late in the program how valuable that third-person coordinator is. I can tell you that as a landlord, I would not have rented to a person that had these problems had there not been that coordinator. And I think as we've gone through the program, I think we can go back in time and say, gosh, these are some things that really would have worked well. And then in the future with tenants and landlords, this is how we could educate everybody about the program right up front. These are some responsibilities and rewards that can be given, some expectations that are fair on both parts.
I should be walking with my cane, but I don't do it all the time, and so for me to get around, because I don't drive, being close to everything was a really big deal.
It was a very private house, so it wasn't, it was out of the way where a lot of people might not see it and be able to identify where they were living. There were issues regarding renovations.
And finally one day it just occurred to me that there's people out there that are there to help me, and so I brought it to Vicki's attention what was going on.
It's only been probably in the last month that I was able to really sit down with her and help her understand what this program really does, how it works, and why we do it.
I feel like I learned a lot as a landlord and as a person by my coordinator's involvement. I really do. And so my poor decisions there really ultimately were not good for the tenant or myself or the program. However, once I fully understood what my coordinator could do, I feel like all the problems were resolved, not only here, but going forward, I feel like I could be a better landlord for the program.
So I think her connections with possible other landlords and sharing her experience, we can offer a little grace and be a little forgiving and see what we can do about getting survivors in homes, because it's really important. That's where we're going to get that connection from her. We don't have to just change the way our clients think, but also the landlords. And that, to me, is a job in itself. And if I have any way of helping them look at a different picture or looking at it differently so that we can help these clients, that would be a success for me. It's really been a learning process. It really has. All of a sudden it seemed like I was off that main road. I wasn't just helping with housing. The financial piece is so important in setting up how you're going to sustain your own housing. I mean, we all have to pay for where we live. So we knew early on budgeting was important. And the case management piece, I think, is bigger than we ever anticipated it. How much education goes behind the budgeting and the planning and goal setting and accessing other resources is huge.
But it's not just the rent, it's so many other needs that they have.
Through dealing with my mental and physical disabilities and my counseling and all the different help, I've never found a place under one roof that has been able to help me with every single need that I have. I have a good med team here, I have a good counselor, I have people that care about me, that want to see me do good. It just showed me that there was more than just housing available, and those that it was okay to ask.
Part of this project has been about the sustainability and the bigger picture and the change that we can make in our own community. So I'm hoping that we can take this to a different level. It's not as much with the client services, we'll keep that going, but add to a new layer some education out there for landlords and what can our community do. Maybe it's not just landlords, but bankruptcy attorneys or car dealership or some of those other community connections that people don't often associate with housing or housing first, but really it's all wrapped into the whole picture.